Hey, welcome to Film Fanatics. My name is Dan.
My name is Justin.
And I'm Joe.
First up, we have to talk about Captain America Civil War. Joe, this was number one on your most anticipated list.
Well, it's worth something, I guess, when I have to actually write about it. So,
Yeah.
Prepare for the essay. This movie is based on the comic book storyline, Civil War, of course, and sticking pretty close to the general idea of the comic, but with an ending that is very different. I would say for marketing purposes and lots of money. The whole MCU cast returns in this one, including some new additions such as Chadwick Boseman as the Black Panther, which I think makes sense, certainly with some of the prestigious people that he's played in the past.
True.
Of African-American notoriety. And perhaps most notably Tom Holland as the newest Spider-Man. So, until they reboot it again.
And Hot Aunt May.
No,
And
we're not.
Tomei as Hot Aunt May.
Sexy Aunt May.
We're not even going to talk about that. Following another supervillain battle, Scarlet Witch accidentally kills several people trying to save Cap. This brings the topic of the danger of superheroes to a whole new level, with the governments of the world demanding that the heroes must become registered as the governmental force under the UN. The heroes become divided on the issue, culminating in a battle deciding whether or not to turn over the Winter Soldier to the authorities. I wasn't totally sure what to expect on this one, but it actually handles the material better than the comic did, which is surprising, with much higher stakes. I think that's one reason it works better. It serves as very much a Captain America film, but also really feels very much like an Avengers story. And this is the first MCU film to really tackle some heavy subject matter while still retaining that comic book sense of fun, which I've been complaining about for years. Like, can we just get one that's not completely
It's always goofy.
Can we give it a little more serious? So finally got some of that. And while the story is good, the best parts of me, though, still were the quips between some of the characters and some really fun fight scenes. The big surprise for me would be that Ant-Man would steal the show, and even the new Spider-Man to some extent. I do think there are some pacing issues early on, particularly when we jump from location to location constantly, which gets kind of annoying. I also wish they decided to go a bit further with the drama regarding the deaths, or lack thereof, of certain characters. It lacks the best punch that it really could have, and they take another direction to make it kind of work, but I'm like, they could have just done that. It would have been a lot easier. Still, I have to say that this shows the characters still have plenty of mileage, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm most interested to hear what Justin has to say for the simple reason that I agree with you. Ant-Man is amazing in this movie, but you and I both liked Ant-Man as a film.
True.
Justin did not. So, Justin, did the character do anything for you in this that you liked?
I'll be honest with you, gentlemen. He did more in 20 minutes than he did in his entire solo movie. Strangely enough, if anything, I was actually upset that he wasn't in it for longer, which, as soon as they announced he was going to be in Civil War, I was like, are you freaking serious?
Hey, man.
But no, he rocked it and then some. I was cheering when...
Well, you knew, though, that his film existed to introduce him to the MCU. So, obviously, he had to be in it.
After I got done with this movie, I started thinking, some of these characters are better as side characters. I've never felt an overwhelming urge, why don't we have a Falcon one-off?
Well, Justin, you bring up an excellent point.
I do agree with that.
Because characters like the Falcon and Ant-Man don't have long-running comics that last a while because they're not as intriguing as Captain America.
But listen.
That's why they're in the Avengers.
I'm pumped for the Black Panther movie.
Good.
I am too.
I thought Boseman was excellent, and he's not in it that much either. I mean, most of these people aren't.
No, Black Panther's a great character.
But
cool.
I thought he was great. The accent was good.
Yeah.
I've honestly been waiting for a Black Panther appearance for literally ages. As soon as I started getting into his comics, I was wondering, why don't we have a Black Panther movie? And I think now the rest of the world is starting to agree. I still don't have any idea why Marvel is so stingy about not doing a Black Widow movie, but hey, whatevs. They've literally been talking about it for about 8 years now, so do it, don't do it, make up your minds.
I think Don't Do It was the mind they made up. I mean, it's been forever.
It's like, okay, one of the main things they were mentioning was like, all right, well, guys, better get ready because Black Widow's going to have more to do in Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier came out, everyone loved your character, and then there was discussion of like, okay, well, Scarlett Johansson's kind of pregnant right now, so maybe
Well, I can offer one theory, Justin.
What's that?
Well, I think the reason they're probably not doing that is because, well, as you know... Dark and also less epic scale. I remember these big superheroes kind of adapt themselves to these big explosions, aliens. Black Widow is about stealth and sleuth and spy stuff, which is, to this crowd, not really what we want. She'd have to almost get onto the Netflix queue, get more on the street level, which is typically where she
I'm glad you brought up, because clearly the MCU is terrified of the Netflix series, I'm sorry. There is no way Charlie Cox's Daredevil would have kept quiet during this whole affair. You cannot sell me that for a freaking
Justin,
second.
To be fair, Daredevil is one of those characters that very rarely interacts with the Avengers. He made a point
in Civil
of it.
War, he was a huge deal.
That's true. But remember, there were different tiers of what was going on. It was a big story.
That's fair. It was a big story, which is why I'm a firm believer this should not have been a Cap story. This should have been Avengers 2. I'm sorry, Age of Ultron.
It basically
you are blatantly out of place.
It basically is Avengers 2.5. And you remember
Well,
watching...
they needed Ultron to introduce a lot of the other characters, too.
True. But I do think that they kind of acknowledge a little bit of what's going on thematically in Daredevil because remember the whole the Vigilantes.
No.
It ties in with this whole idea.
No. The Netflix series is doing a better job of tying in with the MCU than the MCU, which I think is hilarious. Like Jessica Jones not being involved, I can buy. Daredevil, not a chance. Not even a remote chance. Particularly if this is public knowledge, not a chance.
Well, remember, he only really cares about Hell's Kitchen.
He does, but still, with all this going on, when clearly Hell's Kitchen is paying attention to all this stuff, because you see it in like every third episode. But to get back on track, one of the big things about Civil War is there are huge stakes, and there's this huge battle, and literally, people die all over the place. It was huge. The main event was one of the best comic arcs I've ever read, and it did deserve its own movie. Here's the problem, though. Given the more lighthearted and kind of entertaining aspect of the MCU, I legitimately don't think it fits, and after watching it, I still kind of don't.
Really?
Here's why. First of all, they're terrified of killing anybody off. Main reason being, because they've literally...
Well, they're cash cows.
They are cash cows. But seriously, this is Civil War. People have to die. I'm sorry. If you're going to do Civil War, there have to be casualties. And if you're not willing to cooperate, and if you're not willing to own up to that, you shouldn't do Civil War. There was a legitimate reason why, when they announced the next Captain America movie was going to be Civil War, the first words out of my mouth were quite literally, "What have you done?" I mean, but as a story, I think some of it works. I think it's way too long. The location hopping is beyond irritating. And they make the ridiculously dumb mistake of in a story that's all about ethics and right and wrong and trying to figure out and trying to realize that this is one gigantic gray area, they decide to tack on this random villain who, in contrast to so many MCU villains, is not very bad because evil, thank God, but
pretty complicated.
Is just so unnecessary. This should just be... There is no villain with this one. If there is a villain, it's literally Cap and Iron Man. And they try to do a legitimate job with that. They actually make Iron Man more likable in this than they did in the comics, which I appreciated to a fault, though the whole I have daddy issues, I don't have daddy issues, oh wait, yes I do have daddy issues arc that he's had over the course of the MCU movies I thought was unbelievably forced.
I think he has daddy issues.
He has daddy issues, but they kind of resolved daddy issues in Iron Man 2, and oh wait, no, I still have daddy issues.
Hey Justin, Baron Zemo's not a minor villain.
He's
I
not,
was very excited to see him in the movie.
No. Baron Zemo is a good villain. The problem is, I don't think he was necessary for Civil War.
He wasn't, but I thought his motivations worked.
I would have saved him for another movie.
I mean, I think he can come back. You know?
No.
I'm
legitimately okay with Baron Zemo as a villain.
Probably the most complicated villain they've come up with, like you said.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is he doesn't need to be in a movie that already has tension. Protagonist, antagonist as a dual role.
Well, remember though, that's kind of the Cap thing too. Is the investigation to find out what's going on. You kind of need that villain.
I don't agree. I think I think that's really why it becomes so long. Is because we try to focus on one completely out of left field character. I think if anything, we should have saved him for another Phase 3 chapter and tied it in that way.
I do agree it's a little unbalanced, but like I said, they're trying to make it the Cap movie and the Avengers movie, and it has.
And I think it does too much in that camp.
Maybe.
I don't feel like it was too long at all. This movie felt like it was 80 minutes. I mean, I thought this thing zipped by. I think this... Joe, you hit it. I think finally Marvel has a movie with some heft to it that retains the fun Marvel nature of it. You know, I think we've been beating the drum on DC movies being, very dark and no fun at all, for a long time. And I think Marvel is a lot of times the opposite. I think Guardians obviously was a lot of fun.
It was.
But some of the Iron Mans and even Thor 2, they were like...
Quippy.
Yeah, they were like lopping bits at each other, And it's like, that was a story that also could have had some heft to it and kind of didn't. But I feel like this really, I think, was the best of both worlds. I think it was great to see a lot of the people together. Hulk and Thor not being there.
I can understand it in context.
I can understand it in context because it's not an Avengers movie, but like, they mention them because why wouldn't they?
Well, they have something else they're taking care of.
Yes, I know, and that's fine, but it's almost like...
Damn it.
Well, it's like on a TV show where the one person's pregnant or something, so they're off for 3 episodes, and where's so-and-so? That part was kind of corny, I thought.
I liked it.
I know. Ant-Man was excellent.
That's the best part.
He pretty much was. I thought Spider-Man was cute. I mean, he was, he's fine.
I mentioned it. I'm not hating on him.
Yeah, he was okay. I don't think... I've seen a lot of people, online saying, like, oh my god, Ant-Man and Spider-Man stole the show. Mm-hmm. Ant-Man, I can agree with. I don't think Spider-Man stole the show. He did fine.
He was entertaining.
I'm not opposed to seeing his own movie, which we'll be getting. That's fine.
12 of them.
Hot Aunt May, I'm not into. I like Marissa Tomei just fine.
Wait a minute. I thought you were into Hot Aunt May.
No,
it's ridiculous.
I'm into Hot Sally Field Aunt May.
Wait. No, I'm confused. I thought that... Wait. For some reason, I thought you guys were okay with this.
No, I don't want
it's
Hot
weird.
Aunt May.
Okay, well, maybe... All right, well...
I know Aunt May is being like 70.
The thing that annoyed me...
And Marissa Tomei doesn't look her age either. She looks like she's friggin' 40.
I know, she's looked the same forever.
I know.
She's a beautiful woman. It's fine.
She's beautiful.
This is the thing. I will harp on this because you brought it up. I was going to avoid this, but now it has to happen.
Go on.
I'm glad you guys are on my side with this one because I talked to all my friends online, and then when I was ranting about it, when I found out about the casting, they're like, it's fine. She can be hot. Why can't Aunt May be hot? I'm like... It's just not right. And in the movie, they freaking tease you the fact that all of us complaining about it. Oh man, your aunt's so hot. Ooh, I want to, like constant. That was her whole purpose in that scene.
That was the bit.
I was like, God, no, we get it.
Not least of all, Tony Stark.
Why'd you do that?
Saying that.
Of course, it was Tony, so you know what's going to happen. And then Peter's going to have some half brothers.
Yes,
Iron Spiders.
So that's weird.
Yeah,
that's horrifying, by the way. But
it's going to happen.
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Russian accent's back.
Horribly inconsistent.
Is it back? Because she doesn't know how to do one.
No. She dropped it. Hey, Vision, though. Vision was good.
Yeah, Vision's fine. I don't have a problem with him. Justin doesn't care for him, apparently. But
you don't like the sweater? You don't like the sweater? Something just flew inside me. Come on. That was good.
It's just very... He only shows up for a few minutes and really doesn't have all that much to do. Like, they try to give him this emotional arc, and it's not really going anywhere.
To be fair, if they gave him something to do, that battle would have been over.
It's true.
They have depowered the Vision so much, even from the last movie.
Yeah, true.
I'm just going to float around and look at stuff.
So Scarlet Witch can't get behind. She needs to improve the accent. But I love what she does. I love the whole... hand thing, and she, puts up, I guess, shields or whatever it is she's doing. But
would you like to know what her power actually is?
In the comics? What is it?
She alters probability.
Oh.
It's basically magic.
Well, that's a little bit different.
Broad?
Well, it's very broad. They
broad.
at least gave her a more specific job to do. But one of the things that this movie made me realize, and I sort of already knew it from the Iron Man movies.
He knew.
But... War Machine,
Don Cheadle, yeah,
is unnecessary.
He's Iron
Man. You have all of these great people with all these great different powers. He's Iron Man light. There's no purpose to having him.
This is the reason he exists. This is why he's in the movies. Okay, because
I get why he's in the Iron Man movies.
I have an explanation.
Okay.
Okay. Look.
Tell me.
Before Iron Man was Robert Downey Jr., and nobody liked him except for hardcore Iron Man fans. There was a time when Iron Man wasn't that cool. Back in the 90s, you know who was the big standout?
War Machine.
War Machine. Oh,
Okay.
War Machine is awesome. He's better than Iron Man because he's bigger, he's got machine guns, and he was on the Spider-Man animated series. That's why he's there.
Okay.
That's the only reason War Machine is significant. He's the same.
That really bothers me.
Same character.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
same man.
Yeah.
Same man.
Same Iron Man.
Same Iron Man. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I thought Martin Freeman was good. Talk about a great accent.
What about...
His American accent's excellent.
Yes.
It really is.
The Return
Though
of
I don't
Hobo.
know how to feel about him as New Coulson, but...
Well... Coulson's busy.
Yeah, Coulson's got his own stuff to do.
Well, yeah.
His own certain syndicated stuff to do.
They could have thrown Nick Fury in, by the way.
Well, he's got his own stuff
Also,
to do, too, remember?
Not necessarily true.
I don't know if I do remember.
Last movie, he got in the hood and was like, I got stuff to do now.
Yeah, but then he came back for Age of
Yes,
Ultron.
but
So
yeah, I mean, he was in Ultron,
plot holes all over
so-
the place with Nick Fury. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Sam Jackson's a busy man.
No, he's not. He does like 20 movies a year.
I was gonna say.
I think he's fine.
That's busy. That's a lot of movies.
But I mean, he could fit in one of the biggest movies.
If he can
of the
make time for
summer.
Chirac, he can make time for.
He's been in like
Well, I would agree.
every Avengers movie.
I know. So where was he? Is my question.
It's not an Avengers movie.
Except it is.
But
Hey.
but he was also in many of the other
Iron
standalone
Man's.
movies.
Yeah,
Yes.
You know?
little here, little there.
Yeah, true.
Stanley cameo.
I was just gonna say, great Stanley cameo.
As always.
Another one for the books. But yeah, all right. Well, I think we've talked it to death. Joe, what do you think?
A-.
Yeah, A- for me as well. Definitely one of the best in the MCU.
Very, very mid tier for me. B.
All right. Well, most of them are. Usually, what did you give Guardians though? You were high on Guardians, right?
Guardians was an A-.
All right, acceptable. A little low, but it's in the range.
All right, yeah.
In the range.
It's in the range.
All right. Well, I'm glad you liked Ant-Man better in this one at least.
Oh yeah.
No,
no.
I don't know if I'd say he
Clearly a
did
standout.
more in this movie. He just did more for you.
Well, that's
I think-
what I
I
mean.
think-
He
I
just
think-
said he was
I was-
sad
I
that he
was
was only in
thinking
it for a little bit.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he did quite a bit in his own movie. You know, he did stuff.
No, I'm saying he was more
Yeah, that's not what he
effectively
said.
used.
I
Yeah,
just thought it was a funny phrase.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely did more.